Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing, I was say Paizo Publishing, because we're talking about we're playing Mongoose Publishing's Outstanding Traveler, 2nd edition. This is the 2022 update version. And we are using that to play through a modified version of their module Reach Adventure 5 Borderland Run. So this session, if you are joining us at this point, 26 sessions in, I guess you're not really that concerned about spoilers, but in the event that you are joining us for the first time, this session will contain spoilers for that module. And with me today are the stars of the Borderland Run campaign. I'll go the order. I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got David.
I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, co-owner of the Rift Wanderer, and as we learned last week, or had reinforced last week, definitely a healer, not a fighter.
Nice. Next up is Graham.
Oh, hi, I'm Graham, and I have the pleasure of playing Dane Loverick, former drop Marine, and my sunny aspect today is in direct counterpoint to his personality.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is James.
So I'm James. I'm playing Captain Ganny, also co-owner of the Rift Wanderer and engine room aficionado.
Very nice. So. Yeah, he's getting a small stack of electronic certificates from the University of Space Phoenix. So then, guys, this adventure, let me bring us on over to where we left off last time. Actually, I have a couple images I can do to set the old stage here. First, our location where we find the crew of the Rift Wanderer, voila, is on a sprawling space station called, or known as, the World. There is a smaller portion of that. I have the placements for who's playing who here wrong on this one, but we won't be on here long. No one's being forced to, so I hope you enjoy playing Alonzo today, Graham, and Anchor today, James. This will be it. David's playing Dane, so this will be interesting turn of events. You arrived on the World as part of your ongoing contract to deliver a package to a planet in Aslan space, and there is obviously more to that job than that pithy summary would suggest, but I will leave it to you guys to tell us what happened after you arrived on the World.
Bang bang, boom boom. An assassination attempt on Tila Tora, in summary, in the most conspicuous and public of places within the station, as if they were wanting to make a particular point, or, as we now suspect, given the nature of the mercenaries who were hired to do the job, of which there were many. There aren't any more, but there were many. They were, we think possibly, potentially, we don't know yet, that they were almost like a front screen to test the waters, check out how protected he is, maybe to send a signal as well. There's probably a lot more behind the scenes to just simply taking him out or trying to, though they were serious about it. There's no doubt they were serious about it. So there was a tumultuous gunfight in a public area where, in almost Jackie Chan style, we were trying not to sort of hit the potted plant or the person and try and take out the Marines or the mercenaries rather, who were attacking, and we succeeded, and we got Tila Tora to a sort of safe clan location, given that this actually should be a safe place in general for him. We're closing in on his territory. And now I'm struggling for the name of the kind of the voice, the escort, the associate of Tila Tora.
Her name
was supporting and assisting us, and I've just slightly forgotten that name.
Elahase?
Is that her
Ilahase,
name?
yeah.
Thank you. Ilahase, thank you. Is now kind of, I think, is sort of shepherding us, mentoring us, ensuring everything's all right. We were just establishing, I think, as the session ended, if I recall correctly, that the location that we're now in is actually safe, and we were spending some time trying to make sure that we weren't going from the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
I think we had established that. As I recall, the final thing that happened was that Ilahasi called me out and wanted to ask me something, and so I was removed from the sort of safe house, as it were, that we were set in.
That is correct. Yes. Anything else you guys recall or want to add? I think there was some speculation among you as to who might be behind this stuff as well. Although I don't think anyone landed on any one, obvious culprit.
Yeah, I think we went through a long list of possible masterminds behind the scene, covering everything from GDCO to the Imperium to the Aslan to mercantile interests to just anyone really. I don't think we agreed or found a solution.
GDCO. We can fund both sides of a conflict.
I think it says something about the volatility of the area, that so many potential assassin groups could have a legitimate purpose in trying to take out Tia Latora. It probably says something about the difficulties of the area, and also the slightly tinderbox nature of it as well.
Most definitely. There was some time we spent talking about the increased naval presence in the region as well, too, and what that might portend. And I want to assure you guys that I definitely do not have an entire box set and a bunch of supplemental books for a mercenary stuff in Traveler, so there's very little chance of me using that as an excuse to justify one Kickstarter. Very little. I mean, okay, there's a small chance. There's a growing chance of it, but anyway, what else were we talking about?
But you like Noble Knight, so you could also get the striker rules from, and that would be
but I don't like
even
algebra
more stuff to add to it.
Or trigonometry, so I'm probably not going to be getting that. Oh man, wowzers! I remember I think Carl said he really loved the Fusion Fire and Steel book for Traveler of the New Era, and I remember that book as a kid, and I think that was the moment where I realized I wasn't a STEM kid, and I'm like, all right, social sciences sounds good. There's no fucking way I'm learning any of this stuff.
Many happy hours building tanks and things in Striker.
Oh, nice.
For Traveler.
Yeah, and that's the Fusion Fire and Steel is the Traveler of the New Era equivalent of that. An extraordinary amount of spreadsheets and formulae and stuff.
Been there.
Yeah. See, you just got to know the crowd. That's really it. As long as you're playing to your crowd, then that is great. There was, and then I think the final thing, there was some speculation about the possible logistics behind the attack of who might be organizing such a thing, who might be how such a thing would be played out, and also the level of competence on display by the attackers. Certainly, there wasn't a lot of grenade discipline in in amongst them. Although we did get a chance to see the grenade rules in action, so that was fun.
That was fun.
It's my secret goal, not to erase an initiative tracker and use the grenade rules in as many games as I possibly can before end of year. So, then, unless there's anything else, I think we can pick up with the Dane being escorted by Ilahase for a quick chat. You guys were all put up, you may recall, in the same quarters together. You are going to be attending the feast that is being put on to kind of welcome Pilatoro back to, amongst his friends and family members. Other things we talked about was how it seemed as if much of the station security, But when I say station, I mean the parts of the world that are accessible to non-inhabitants. The world itself, you may remember, is cut off, where the inhabitants of the world don't understand. They live on a space station. They think that this is the entire thing, and it's the rulers or the owners or the masters of them that allow other people to kind of come and visit. It seems as if many of the warriors among Tila Torol's retinue have fallen into the job of station security here, which is part of the reason why the response was not, there wasn't a lot of questions being asked of you afterwards. You also found that... Oh, sorry, you looked panicked there for a moment there, Graham. Okay. It also seems that the people that he is among, these are all like the people he would have grown up with in his, not only in his caste, but also like in the service caste. So these are all people who grew up to serve the house together. Curious as well that they're here and not, on Tyok. But we'll pick up with you being walked by Ilihase, who actually wants to leave the compound. She wishes to have your assistance to collect something else from one of the other vendors, something that will be required for the, she says, for the feast.
Okay, of course, I'm delighted to help. I'm slightly conspicuous in the way that I am. But...
Conspicuous is probably a helpful thing in, word. There's not a huge, population that is regularly resident on the world. And if word spreads of how heavily armed and how quickly you responded and how ineffective the assassination attempt was, show of force at this point is not a show of weakness. It's just a reminder, I think. Or at least that's what she is thinking. So as she leads you through the Aslan compound, she will then leave out, or leave. She doesn't prompt any conversation while you were in the compound. If there's anything you wish to ask or wish to, I know Dane being the notorious Chatty Cathy.
I think I will apologize for the fact that I would like to try, that's all right with her, to speak the Aslan tongue, and I'll sort of make a point of it being small talk rather than anything important on the way out, as I appreciate she wants privacy.
Yeah.
Just to say,
where is the library?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she will return it in kind for the kind of small talk. If you explain it that you wish to practice it, she will be patiently correcting any errors that you make in pronunciation or in conjugation or things like that, or general grammar rules. Yeah. But she doesn't engage beyond that until you get outside of the compound. And it's about maybe 2-3 minutes from the compound where you're beginning to wander the hallways of the world, and the kind of ramshackle buildings and structures, not buildings but like structures or rooms come buildings that have been built to build up some kind of spaceport within the station itself. And she, as you're going along, says, your practice with your efforts to master our language, or at least gain a understanding or a proficiency with it, are admirable and are appreciated, I'm certain. Tell me, what prompted you to undertake such a challenging task?
I will speak candidly to you. I should really be saying this in my version of Troc, which is going to be very, very basic without any of the nuances. But
me good, hungry donut.
Yeah. Me want good with Aslan. As I have travelled with Tila Tora as a charge as part of effectively an assignment, a business assignment, you could regard it as, of transportation. I have come to respect and admire him as an individual, regardless of the species. I also am looking for a longer term position, and depending on his needs, and I have not particularly spoken to him about this at any length, you will appreciate, I have wondered if there may be a position in his clan for somebody like me with certain experience and certainly a good perspective of the Imperium, to the extent that knowing what is going to be coming when he arrives at his destination, I have been working to assume a position of his second in any duel that may take place.
She turns, kind of stops when you reach that part of telling her, and turns. It seems as if that isn't news to her.
Right.
And she says, Dane Lovric, I appreciate your candor. It is... You have not known our Lord long, but I take it that he has left an impression upon you.
He has. It also speaks something of where I am.
I will tell you that you are not alone in your feelings of admiration for Tila Toral. Among our kind, the bonds of family, blood, and extended are strong and run a lifetime. And even with that, there are those of us who have known that Tila Toral was bound for greatness, or had the prospect of such, even from a young age. He is truly a remarkable individual.
I am particularly fortunate to have found a home with a very good crew on the ship, and being made to feel very welcome. We are all, I can speak, I'm confident I can speak to the crew to this regard, that we are all committed to ensuring that he is delivered safely and that there is a resolution to the matters of honor that are to come. And I speak for all of the crew, who are equally prepared to support him in this. If there is anything that you could advise us in terms of how we can best undertake this, then we are at your disposal. I wish to speak to you now in candor, but also in confidence. Understood. What you propose to serve as his second, if he arrives as matters are, it could only compound the dishonor that he brings. I see. I am certain that his failure at Aransir is
due to betrayal of the most dishonorable kind.
Mm-hmm.
But without proof. Without proof of that, then his failure simply is a failure and carries the dishonor that comes with that. Among our people, what would be expected to restore that to the family would be for him to die with honor in the duel. If you were to present yourself as an alternate and to triumph over the duelist assigned, and there will be a professional duelist assigned or engaged, if you were to triumph in that, it would be viewed as, at best, dishonorable and potentially cause for escalation with the enemies who are profiting from his dishonor.
Then I have misjudged how I can best help him.
Not at all. Have you found anything to exonerate him or to contextualize what has occurred? If we can show the perfidy of his enemies, then the duel becomes one of honor. And victory in it through a second would not compound the dishonor on the clan and would indeed restore his honor.
In which case, if there is, if you have any suggestions as to how we might progress an investigation, if there is any, if you have any insights or any suggestions as to how we might investigate the truth of what took place and expose that, then that would be helpful.
I can tell you that myself and others who I know loyal through to death, we have investigated here. And I am confident there is no traitor among our number.
Right.
I have heard that you have one more destination before you hope to reach Tyok.
We do.
The individual who is there is a very old friend of Tila Toral's father. And in your parlance, a favored uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He was an early champion of Tila Toral, even as second son, and seemingly grateful to support him as Ihate. If he is the one who has betrayed Tila Toral, that blow may be as devastating as the loss at Aaron Sear to him. If there is proof of it, it will be in his computer records.
I see. That's given us something to go on, and that's greatly appreciated. We all have burdens, and as we grow older, we carry heavier ones. Such is the way.
Indeed. That is how you asked how you might help Tila Toral, and I've answered that.
Thank you.
I wish to speak to you because I think there is an alternative way to help Tila Toral. In our our kind's world, a wife could not ask their mate to undertake a dishonorable task, such as fleeing or running from the consequence of execution. You must understand that. A wife who would ask such a thing of her husband would not be fit to be a companion for him. I cannot ask such a thing of Tila Toro. But you could.
Yeah.
If Tila Toro were to turn back from this course, if Tila Toro were to head up the Dranaxi chain and into the Sindal sector, all of his supporters would go with him. We would prefer to see, if he faces nothing but execution, we would stand with him to the end. Wherever he went to make his fortune, wherever his life took him, we would go.
The ways of your species runs profoundly, deeply in Tila Tora's veins. You know him, I now appreciate far better than any of us on the crew. I think you perhaps already know his mind and the direction that he is taking himself in. It is inexorable. It is inevitable. And so it is that the task that you set us is all the more urgent.
There's a pained look on her face, as if she may have, she may have been considering this as a way around the, the confines of her culture. And she says, "No, you are right. I know you are right, but it is futile. What value is honor when it is the dishonorable who profit from it?"
Let us hope, I say, that I have use for these, and I pat the two curved knives in my belt.
Yeah. She says, "Those have been... You may not have intended, but your display of them tells us much about your character." There, of course, is no errand. I simply wish to speak away from the compound, lest any ears overhear the disgraceful path I propose for you to convince Tila Toro to walk.
We have an understanding. And my confidence is assured. And I shall return to my fellow crew, and we shall do what we can to find a path that is both honorable for him, regains the truth of the situation, and enables us to send a message of the strength of both him and his clan.
The strength of his clan. If they recognize a strength in him, he would not have been forced to be Ihate.
True. Then we shall rekindle that strength.
I'm getting a weird... I think I'm getting an odd error on my Roll20 where, like, certain letters are not displaying. Again, Dr. Abdel's thing, it says, certainly Psalm with no E, Only Eld, like E's are not showing up, but then they are showing up. It's very weird.
That's just
Yeah.
It's just me, yeah.
It's unique. Yeah.
Oh, now they just showed up.
Victoria Day.
It's very weird. Yeah. Fucking
very slow.
my
delayed.
anti-monarchist computer. Yeah. So she says very well.
Okay.
She says perhaps a circle of the concourse to make others think we are running an errand. Your companion, the doctor, he seems most skilled in his trade.
Yes, he is most skilled in his trade. At least the ones I know of.
I suppose it would be against his honor to drug our lord and have you take him elsewhere. And if you look at her, like, you can tell there's a little, like, sparkle in her eye. This is whatever passes for Aslan humor.
It's not going to happen. Smile.
Okay. But he could.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he absolutely could.
Then perhaps a contingency if events fail to transpire how you hope on sync.
We'll see.
So then, Dr. Ilias and Gani, anything you guys wish to do while you are waiting in preparation for the dinner?
I think Dr. Elias is slightly fussing over Captain Gani because he got shot in the fight, and it helps Dr. Elias
And blown up.
Calm down being in a firefight, so he'll just make double sure, and that's probably to the point where Gani is like, yes, the pain has stopped, the bandages are on, stop. But he'll just double check.
No. Gani's not saying that. He says, keep going, keep
And that's on account of the tinnitus that he has now on account from the grenades. So...
I think he would also ask Captain Gani if he thinks there will be a second attempt, like as we discussed earlier, for from Gani's more military experience and less sheltered upbringing than Dr. Ilias's, if he thinks there will be a second attempt, and how watchful we should be during this dinner.
No, I'll be saying, from my knowledge of the Aslan, they're all mad and will be determined to do something extreme. So we should keep on our guard. Militant lot. You never know where their honour will take them. So keep your gun near you.
Rather not, but I see what you mean. Hopefully Dane will be there and will do what he does best should anything go wrong.
Exactly. We're right behind Dane, and that's where we're going to stay.
Okay. Then, anything, Dane, when you return from your time with Elahase, what do you share with the rest of the crew, if anything?
So, I mean, I think, yeah, obviously, what I'll share with you guys, probably of that conversation, is the pertinent stuff that we need to know, which is the best result for all of us, including our passenger, is to dig towards the truth of what has happened. We know this. On our next destination, we're going to be encountering his favoured uncle, close friend, close confidant, keen supporter, and I've been given every indication from Ilahasi, who, incidentally, I think may well be his wife, that we should discreetly investigate the connection between his favoured uncle and Tila Tora, and we may gain some insights and some truths in that, which will be painful all round, but I think will be necessary. Computer records, in particular, if we can get access to those, we probably have the skills amongst us to do it. So I think that's probably going to be our main exercise. If we can switch things around, it becomes less of an execution and more of a duel of honor, which is a very different Aslan situation. And there's every chance that if we do that, I sort of pause at this moment and sort of look slightly reflectively, that Tila Tora will survive. So
Elias will take this in, and then, because it doesn't quite have the warrior mentality of the Aslan. So are you saying that even if we prove he was betrayed, this duel will go ahead? Surely there's no reason for it.
No, it has to happen. The forms are being undertaken, so it has to happen. But it will take on a very different purpose, shall we say, if we can conclusively prove that he was betrayed. They like to fight, those warriors. It's a warrior culture.
Well, they say, you know, when you have a dew claw, every problem looks like an honor duel. So,
Yep.
I miss the Imperium, Dr. Ilias.
Well,
Yeah,
given our
so
earlier
that's it.
discussion, do you, in as much as you can after the short encounter, do you trust her? Given the many enemies potentially arrayed, could she be pointing a loaded gun in a certain direction?
I can't even pick up the nuance of that language. I can only go on what I think and feel, which isn't great, I know, but I think I can trust her. And the advice she has given seems reasonable. Is she moving blame elsewhere and planting evidence elsewhere? Of course that's possible. We're just going to have to take things one step at a time and hope we get the breaks.
so
Anyway, I'm going for a drink.
anything else you guys wish to do before the dinner or the feast?
Oh yeah. Are we, so just in terms of the feast, just in terms of our attendance there, obviously it's a great honor, etc., etc. We kind of all appreciate that.
Yeah.
In terms of just so I'm clear, because who knows what might happen at the feast. What's kind of expected of us in terms of our attire and so on? I don't want to assume that I'm going to go to a feast in tech level 13 polycarbon armor.
No, what you would, it is a especially with the lords or whatnot, or high-ranking nobles within the clan. You may remember the relatively meager, or not meager, modest at least, meal that you guys had at Hernan's claim. That likewise, I think you mostly attended in dress clothes for that, because it was intended to honor Tila Toril. So there's a ritualized component to that. So you're probably going to want to, you guys aren't going to be putting on Aslan clothes, not the least of which because it will absolutely not fit you. But if you have your culture's dress clothes, whatever those might be, it would be an appropriate venue for wearing those. So if you got dress blues or grays or whatever the fuck they are for the Imperial military, or your, I just had a funny vision of what the faculty of British universities wear, like the elaborate hats with the things, like picture Dr. Ilias showing up in that. But I imagine he has something more, just a nice suit that he wears, or a space tuxedo or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the more his thing.
Yeah.
But I've been to a number of graduation ceremonies. It's always funny to see all the little tassels and weird colors.
Well, that's funny because
Harry Potter.
We don't like, there are robes and whatnot with different like sashes and whatnot in North American universities, but when I did a semester in Bath, it was, or not Bath, in the University of Dundee, it was the full, like, what I was expecting from British academic regalia. It was amazing. Oh my gosh.
Could I make a request to, is it Ilahasi? Would it be inappropriate for us? Is there like a clan colours or a symbol or a motif that, if we choose to as crew, we could wear? And would that be appropriate, or would that signify a connection to the clan that would be inappropriate? So I don't want to do anything that would cause.
I think it would be degrees of it. So like if you all wore a shared color, that probably would show some. It would be honoring the guests without trying to steal glory, as it were.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Borrowed glory? Stolen glory? Stolen glory.
Stolen glory.
Yeah. That would be just like, you'd be cloaking yourself with a. Yeah, and that's one of the many things. If you ask her about that, she'll happily explain that that's one of the ways that, likewise, too, you need to, when someone is talking at the feast, nobody else talks. Everyone else listens. So that's an important thing to not, bullshit back and forth or whisper. No talking in church, as it were. So,
okay, grand. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or any other preparations you guys wish to do? Dr. Elias, I'm assuming, has administered the concoction to make sure you can all safely eat the Aslan meat.
Yep.
Yummy.
It's going to be heavily spiced, too, so he's administered a glass of milk for each of you to assist with that. What is everyone wearing?
Do you think any of the dishes will be of the kind where we have to kill the meat first ourselves, or is that unlikely to happen here, Dane?
There will be some.
I don't know.
You would not be required to eat, space rodents, as it were. But yeah, there's going to be, the meat will be a variety of more on the rare side than the cooked, and certainly heavily spiced.
Okay. No idea what we're going to have, so I suppose what I'll wear is I'm not going to wear a third Imperium naval Imperial Marine dress uniform, actually. I'm going to dress smartly in a sort of Imperial styled sort of suit. So probably just a smart suit, which I may have.
Do you think he has that, or is that something he has to pick up?
He probably has to pick it up, doesn't he? He won't have expected this, and he's got basically his combat fatigues.
Yeah.
He's got like a spacer ship sort of one suit thing.
Yeah.
And that's about it. He hasn't got much. He's probably got some casual clothes. Is there anywhere he can do that?
There probably. I mean, with the world, it's a crapshoot. What I'm curious of is what your. Let's see here. What your comparative strength and endurance is to the other members of the crew. Because I wonder if there's someone else you could borrow a suit to fit in. Alonso's 6 and 6 in those, so I think he's probably smaller than you.
Slightly, yeah. Not great. I'm not a huge mountain of a guy.
Oh, okay. What about Captain Gianni and Dr. Ilias?
Yeah, I'll have to beg for. Anybody got anything that's decent that might fit me?
Some nice mechanics outfit.
Yeah, Captain Gandy doesn't really strike me as more than one suit in the locker type of guy.
No, but I do have my old Navy uniform, but I don't think I'd wear it here. This ain't Imperial Navy place. I think I'd wear my Scout service.
Okay.
Because that's somewhat more neutral.
That's good shout.
Alias probably has a spare suit. I have strength 4, endurance 6, so I don't know how that compares to Dane's build, but he'll happily.
7-8.
That is going to be a tight suit.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I think what it comes down to.
He's trying to pull it over his chest. He's like, it's.
Just the ribs in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Is it supposed to have vents in the middle of the back now? Because. So why don't we do this then?
The other thing I could do is take my sort of dress uniform and take off the regalia. Sort of take off the bars and take off the piping and leaving it as I'm not sure what color it is actually. I need to go look at the book, but
I've got the
sort of dark navy. I'm assuming it's a dark navy. I don't know why. It's because I'm thinking about navy, but.
This is a really stupid question. Is navy blue called navy because of the navy?
Yeah.
Like, surely that must be it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Only took me 47 years to figure that out. So, that's too funny. It also makes sense for why the Navy book is blue as well. Oh, that's funny.
You?
Yeah, the Royal Navy uniforms were a navy blue.
Blue. Yeah.
Royal Navy.
It all makes sense now. Can you tell I grew up in a landlocked province? All right. So the Imperial Navy is all lots of blues.
Right.
Those are the service uniforms, not the dress uniforms.
Well, I'll just have to wear it.
Yeah, although they're
I'm
gray.
trying to get away from it.
The flag officers are gray. Petty officers. Yeah, I think it's blue.
Yeah.
Because you, what was your rank when you
Force commander.
cashed out? Okay. Grays. That's
Grays. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to wear it. I'll wear it.
And I will just the expression on that dude's face. Where is it? That is fantastic. If you get, that's someone who took the art assignment and went well beyond what was necessary, because every one of the pictures of the people in the uniforms, it isn't that like stock face. Every one of them has some kind of interesting expression. All right. So then, the other thing you could do is, I don't think that Alonso is that far off from you, and he probably has a spare suit. It will be a little snug on you, and I'm guessing is going to be pretty distinct, given Alonso's personality and interests.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, perhaps a little bit more flamboyant than anything I would have picked. Kevin, I think I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go with it and have to wear the 3rd Imperium Marine dress uniform.
Okay. And Dr. Elias?
I think he has a few suits. They'll probably pick like a Jodhpuri suit, so slightly longer, like sort of not like a shirt, but like a jacket that is slightly longer. That probably was like a gift from the Pharaoh of Simok or something from Exhaust that he wore at some sort of occasion and hasn't worn since then. So he'll be like very much not military. He'll be very nicely dressed.
Yeah.
But no allegiances to military organizations or imperiums or anything like that. Just sort of a nice evening wear.
Very nice. Accent shoes as well, or?
Yeah, they'll be color coordinated with the rest of the outfit.
Okay. Then, the dinner itself. Anything else you guys wish to ask about before you go, or wish to prepare? What are you bringing as well? Anyone bringing any weaponry? I'm sure it'll be fine, but... But I imagine it's a conversation that would come up. I mean, there would be someone, as you guys are storing shit in your lockers or whatever else, there might be a... So, you know...
I'll take the 2 knives.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose we'll check.
So,
What's allowed?
I'll take my Gauss pistol.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Are you asking whether it is appropriate or not?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll ask.
Very not appropriate to bring weaponry to dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. You can wear it like this. The show saber, that probably is, if it's part of a military dress uniform, that will be excused. But, yeah, bringing firearms to dinner, particularly as honored guests,
No.
no. There's no ritualistic purpose for bringing that. It would only be suggesting that they cannot keep you safe. So it would only be a way of insulting them. That doesn't mean you can't bring one and try and conceal it. Speaking of which, why don't we each roll a d6 and see how much luck we have to play with today? I forgot to do that at the outset. Four. And...
Well,
Okay, so 9 luck to play with today. Then, Captain Ganny, do you wish to try and conceal your pistol on you?
No, I'll leave it behind then.
Okay. Dr. Ilias?
No weapons for Dr. Elias.
You've had your fill of gunplay for...
Yeah. He's probably tempted to take his med kit, but then that might also indicate a sort of lack of trust and safety. So he'll probably leave that behind as well.
I can think of a way to squirrel that if you wish to bring it along. That shows weakness on your part or your collective part as opposed to an insufficiency on their ground.
is that the nature of us going to an Aslan meal?
You did tell them that
therefore-
it was a serum that you concocted to allow them to eat that. And if you wish to just be overly cautious on the account of your insufficiency as a chemist, I think they would accept that as, oh, that is a reasonable precaution. You are only human after all.
Yeah, in that case, I think Dr. Ellis will take a sort of standard med kit with him just in case. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah. Okay.
He'll feel better with it nearby.
Okay.
And not that I'm being paranoid. Are you able to synthesize any serums that might protect or prevent a certain Aslan being poisoned? I'm just thinking out loud. I can't help myself.
Dr. Ellis, why don't you give us a medicine roll here? Let's see the extent of the creepy answer that you're able to give in detail.
Do you want chemistry or medicine?
Dealer's choice. I'm fine with either.
Chemistry.
Okay, so I interrupted you, David. What was Dr. Lewis going to say?
I think he would say, and correct me if the technology would allow, but he would probably say like, yes, but with advanced preparation, if you're thinking about doing something on the fly, that'd be a lot riskier and messier and noticeable.
Yeah, so
Do you have reason to believe he will be poisoned?
No, I'm just I'm just cautious.
Yeah, and the challenge that you'll face too, that Dr. Elias could go into, even the difference between toxins and venoms on our planet as is significant and requires very different medical responses to them. The variety of different venoms that can affect a body to require very specific responses that can be lethal if administered incorrectly. And you add into that there's also the possibility of biological or chemical poisons that are custom tailored or whatnot. So the degree, if you want to bring NurseBot along with you, that'll give you probably a fighting chance, at least of the litany of different potential poisons that could be used.
Yeah, apologies, Doctor. I'm just being overly cautious.
Absolutely.
And we are, of course, amongst Aslan, who will have the appropriate protections in place, I'm sure.
What I would say is that with the med kit with you and with access to something that could synthesize pharmaceuticals, that'll give you at least a fighting chance of it. Because if you can properly diagnose what is going on and then respond to it, that might give you a fighting chance. But NurseBot sadly has 0 skill levels in table manners, so is likely to be just a nightmare at the dinner. Anything else?
I think NurseBot stays on the ship. As funny as it would be, I don't think that might sound, that might declare a level of weakness we don't want to think we have.
So one thing that Ultima One, if he is present when you're discussing this, that he will. You have not discussed it with him, but there are hidden compartments on his person. If there is anything you wish to secret along as far as medical concerns, I am happy to interface with and maintain a connection with NurseBot for the duration of that. At the very least, what that could offer is some additional precaution if you are concerned, Dane.
I'm more concerned of the repercussions if, despite your advanced technology, their scanning picks anything up.
Understood.
So, I think we shall honour our guests by following the protocols that they would expect.
Understood. Then, anything else you guys wish to do before?
No, I think all good.
Yep.
All right.
I was going to say have a shave, but probably given our company, not have a shave.
My mane's coming in real nice now. Then, the dinner itself, you had a preview of what to expect with this as far as the meals and the dishes and the presentation and the way that, conversation flows on this. By your experience on Hernan's claim, this is something much more elaborate. You may remember that those people went to great lengths to get as close to fresh meat as they could for it, and all in the back end of the I can't remember the name of the system. I know Gibraltar Station was there, but I don't remember the name of the system. But in the middle of nowhere in their system, this is, relatively speaking, spitting distance from the Hyrate. So it is an extraordinary display of what what a proper meal among their kind is. They've also gone to great lengths to make the place look as much as, while the rest of the compound has been turned over to be as much as can be given the limited, available resources, to be more like an Aslan quarters. There's always reminders that this is probably a station built by humans at some point. This room where this is being held, extraordinary lengths have gone to make this thing look top to bottom like something built by Aslan for Aslan. The smells are unlike anything else you have the coppery tang of blood is pretty heavy in here, but it is very quickly overpowered by the smell of cooking and spiced meats, as well as the hubbub. Every Aslan that is in here is speaking their language and is very, seems very, they're in a very good mood. And in among all of them is Tila, who seems more disarmed, I think, than what you have seen him since. They seem to have gone to great lengths, that way that you get, at times, or what going back home can be like at times, where, you're not noticing the things that have changed, but you're remembering what, the best bits of that memories, or those bits of memories may have been. And he's in those robes once again. When you guys arrive, Ilhase is the first to greet you all very enthusiastically, and is happy to direct you towards wherever your beverages of choice might be. While they are not making exceptions as far as the dishes are concerned, they have seemingly made exceptions for aperitifs. So there are actual selections of whatever the imperial culture may approve. So sort of the broad strokes of this. You're being offered effectively whatever the, bar brand or the rack brand are, as far the rail brand. That's the saying of the imperial liquors and whatnot, or non-liquors in your case, Dr. Elias, because I think you don't drink alcohol.
Correct.
Yeah. So there is nothing. They have been thoughtful to set out the black tar heroin for you, Dr. Ilias. So your chosen vice is also on offer. But what do you guys do to blend? Do you stay amongst yourselves? Do you throw yourself in amongst the crowd? Ultima 1 seems to have, again, he's fluent with this, so he has slowly begun to filter his way into the crowd.
Even his troch is better than mine. Damn it.
He has had a great deal of time in order to perfect that, too, so...
Oh, I'm sure it didn't take
Once
him very
you
long.
get your extensive cybernetic guys, I might be reading a couple chapters ahead. Hold on. What do you guys do?
Gosh.
See, this is
Fearless
some
would happily
outstanding role-playing on the part of the players. It may look like they're struggling to do, but they are doing exactly what their party is doing, is looking at one another, looking at their shoes.
The Fearless would happily mingle and walk around and see if anyone is happy to chat in not Aslan, because he doesn't speak Aslan at all, but see if people are happy to chat. He'll just sort of...
Yeah. I think there's one or two of the the medics, the ones who would pass as medics here, who will see you and welcome you and compliment you on your attire and chit chat with you. That leaves 2.
Desperate not to do something wrong, more than do something right. I should probably be... Well, Dane's not particularly good at this, but he will try to stop himself from checking the exits, looking at the moving people around the perimeter, trying to sort of just check any movements that seem wrong. But he'll occasionally sort of fall into the general sort of pattern like that, but then try and stop himself in case someone notices what he's doing. So it's probably what he's doing, and he will probably at some point, like almost the last dance, pluck up the courage to go and try and speak to somebody.
Okay.
And will probably cause huge hilarity with his slightly rudimentary troch language. Yeah. The canapes taste awful, don't they? I will probably say, meaning what marvelous food we've been having.
Exactly. This is most akin to dog shit. What about Captain Gandy? One thing we have not talked about is, in spite of his purported love of the Navy, how did he master that all-important, officers' mess chat part of the Navy career?
Oh, well, he was he came from a fairly low-class background, so he never fitted in well. Plus, he was more of a guy who was more comfortable in the engine room.
Right.
And that's part of the reason he didn't get any further. They wasn't because he wasn't competent. It was just they could be a snooty lot, but he still, still loves the Navy anyway.
Yeah. So what is what is Captain Ganny doing then? Is he also trying to throw himself into the mix, or is he standing with Dane, trying to suss out whether anyone wait for someone to approach or wait for
he'll
dinner to be
just
called?
stand around with the drink, nodding every now and then.
Yeah.
And looking.
You're taking turns sloshing the ice in your glass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is disastrously close to my party. Yeah.
Yeah, you've really described what you guys have described is exactly how I am.
This is
Can I find a corner? To go to where I feel safe?
or the plan B is always go to the pet. Is there a dog around here? If there's a dog, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the fucking evening.
Yeah. It's a lot easier.
So what you do find is actually Tila Toro will pull away from his conversation once he notices that the two of you have arrived. He will kind of nod at you, Dr. Ilias, but you have found folks to chit chat with, and he will make his way over to the two of you and say that have the beverages met your approval?
They are extremely good, thank you.
My people have made the effort to find what would be palatable and safe. Their selections were limited, so please, if the substance of their offerings are not reflective of their gratitude, understand the intent behind.
Their lack of experience is not evident in the quality of the drink.
I am grateful that both of you could honor a captain and a favored associate.
Well,
Grateful to have you here.
good to be here.
We
I say,
expect...
looking stiff and awkward.
Yeah, he honestly seems... It's odd because he did seem very at home amongst his friends too, but he has that same, standing around and then continuing to sort of chit-chat about, will you take on cargo before sink? Almost as if he's stalling, having to go back and go in with the rest. It seems as if there's also that element of, when you go home and you realize it ain't your home no more kind of thing. Yeah, that is because he is spending a lot of time talking about nonsense stuff that either you guys did for sure talk about before or probably doesn't need to be dealt with right now.
Yeah. We'll probably take his lead and talk for as long as he wants to, but give him an out as to whenever he needs it.
He then also says quite a fight when we arrived. I am grateful that you were all unharmed.
We were ready for any problems or those sorts of problems, even at a location that one would not expect it.
There is a saying among us. Children at war. They seemed as such. Those Those humans on Aaron Sear were much more capable.
We will be similarly vigilant through to the end of the destination, including Sync.
Am I right to think their effort clumsy? Unprepared.
They were inadequately equipped for the mission that they were given. They showed great bravery in the execution of their mission and some practiced skill. However, they were ill prepared, as you suggest, for the assassination attempt, particularly given the nature of the target. It is my judgment, and I think it was certainly the view taken by all of us. I'll sort of turn to Captain Gunny.
Littoral turns to you, Captain.
I always, in matters your culture is, I admit, somewhat alien to mine. So I feel that Dane can give my best guidance on these matters. I always look to him.
But they were humans who attacked.
But they appear to have been in the employ of your people. And they're driven by your imperatives of your warrior culture. But indeed, they seemed insufficiently trained, insufficiently briefed, insufficiently equipped.
And it is our regret. It is our regret that so poorly equipped as they were, that we did not have the opportunity to take prisoners.
You can see his, because you're just a little more familiar with his mannerisms and whatnot, Dane, he seems quite rigid and, like, he seems angry. And he says, "This is twice my enemies have set your kind upon me, rather than face me directly. It is an insult."
An unwillingness to take responsibility.
Cowardice. And to send so ill-equipped forces. It is not the worst wound they have inflicted on me, but their estimation of my measure is one such wound.
It's, I'm sure you've appreciated that our people maybe have different measures of honor and rituals, but we also, for our people, this would be unimpressive behavior.
Yeah, they did not have the opportunity to evidence particularly much of their skill or their esprit de corps. We have a saying in the Marines, which I use the language of my regiment, is numquam relinquere hominem post tergum. Never leave a man behind. Well, they didn't leave anyone behind.
Their underestimation. Let us hope it extends to all of our capabilities. And I will shoulder the burden of that further dishonor. And there's sort of I imagine a silence among the three of you afterwards where people are just otherwise filling up the things, but each of you he seems deep in his thoughts. And that is when someone makes an announcement in the Aslan tongue, and he says, "Oh, dinner." And why don't we take our mid-session break, and then we'll come back and have dinner. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
So what do we think? Poison attempt, assassination, attack, or will it just be a boring dinner?
Hoping for the latter. Yeah. Yeah, quite. Or at least, yeah. I'm sure it'll be eventful, but how have you found the mingling? Do you know yet?
No, I assume probably slightly awkward given the different cultures, and I think that's actually what I really enjoy, as you mentioned earlier. They feel alien.
Yeah.
In their sort of, so possibly slightly awkward, but I think Dr. Elias likes to mingle and has been to a lot of boring faculty functions and similar events to just take it in his stride.
I think with Dane, even though he's been inculcated and brought through a warrior culture, it in some ways it doesn't help, because then he might make assumptions as to what is fitting as per his marine and his regiment and his unit, and actually that could catch him out, because although it's a warrior culture, they have slightly different precepts which they hold to, which is quite interesting.
Did you watch Shogun on Disney?
I feel like I almost should do as a primer for what we're about to face. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't read the book it was based on, but I really enjoyed the show. But I'm getting a slightly strong vibe of Dane and the Aslan of the English character and meeting the samurai culture. There's a bit of overlap there, which is but it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. I heard really good things of it. What's it on over here? Is it
Disney
Netflix?
Plus?
Disney Plus. That's probably why I haven't seen it. Don't have that one.
Yeah, I feel there are too many streaming platforms these days.
Oh,
Easy, when it was just Netflix and everything was on Netflix, and now it
was helpful. I plan to rejoin Paramount and watch Halo and watch Strange New Worlds when it comes back. So, but that's what you have to do. I watched it and then I dropped it, and I'll pick it up again when there's something I want to watch. And I suppose that's what you have to do. You have to surf it, don't you?
Also, when they do this thing of locking it down so that you have to be at the same address. That Netflix did. And I tolerate because Netflix was my main thing, but apparently Disney are going to do the same. And then I'm going to lose it at that point. Because my ex-wife uses it, but I don't think my kids even watch it, so I'll just abandon it then.
So do they pick that up on the IP address or something, or?
Yeah, somehow on this. But
so
definitely you have to pay extra for a Netflix.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's like, you pay whatever it is, and then you pay another €4 or €5 for every person on top of one.
Right.
I mean, the better one at the moment is Prime, because it's very cheap. I mean, it used to be ludicrously cheap, and now it's just cheap. It's like €3 a month. Before, I think it's €5 or €6 now.
Yeah, it's got ads now, hasn't it? On the base, is that right? The basic has got ads, is it?
Yeah. You need to pay extra if you want that free.
At least in the UK, there's no saying that the streaming rules will be the same internationally. Yeah,
I think that's maybe a UK thing. I don't have any ads on any of my platforms.
Right.
But they're doing. Amazon has got limited stuff, but some of it's very good. I mean, Fallout is excellent, just excellent. Means high hopes for Warhammer when it comes.
Is that definitely happening?
It's still in the works.
Henry, I think it's.
Yeah, because there were rumours it was dead, and then those were put down.
All right.
So this is the crew, Kevin, just making sort of nervous small talk in the
What's the rumors?
You're right. Yeah, I'm all right. You're right. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right.
Okay. So then, let's see how everyone's table manners are. This will be a diplomat.
Roll dice.
Yeah, a diplomat check, please, with a dice modifier of +4. Remember, don't put the plus sign in.
Gosh, got to use our character sheets.
Oh, I see some red. Oh.
Wow, there's only one, thankfully.
Something. Diplomat normally uses social.
Correct.
Oh no, intellect. But
No, should use social for this one.
Okay. So there.
I'm just on off a minus. That sounds lucky.
All right. So, in spite of Dr. Ilias bringing up cat vivisection at dinner, it is otherwise. The dinner is very similar to what you witnessed at Hernan's Claim, that family at Hernan's Claim, although there isn't a precocious teenager who is like interrupting and singing the praises of Tila Toro. But it is a very dignified affair, and it seems that while Tila Toro is doing his very best, since you guys have traveled with him a little more and have a different experience with him than what his family members, did, he gives the appearance of, there's a little bit, I think you think, of reluctance to accept the praise that is sort of heaped upon him as part of the typical, expressions of gratitude and the recognition of honorifics and of his station that would typically go into this kind of event. But it's otherwise fine. I mean, nobody, no one gets sick because of Dr. Ilias's. Thanks to Dr. Ilias's serum, no one gets sick. I'd say no one gets sick thanks to the serum, but it's not going to be that that's going to make you ill. It is, for those of you with an adventurous palate, it is a very, interesting experience with the variety of different meats that are on offer and different ways that it has been prepared. For those of you with a more prosaic palate, you may find something you can stomach and then just soldier through a full plate of that. It's otherwise, there's a lot. This type of thing is a very ritualized form of socializing. So, thankfully, no one breaks any, rules of etiquette or otherwise makes an embarrassment of themselves or Tila Toro in the course of the evening. And it is pretty much over, before you know it. There's nothing dramatic that happens. No one grabs their throat and keels over, no one seems to drink too much. It truly seems that everyone has been anticipating this for quite some time and was on their very best behavior for the duration of this. One thing that you definitely pick up, especially with your insight to her, Ilahase most definitely seen someone who is particularly valued by Tila Toro. If you do try and get a sussing out of the situation, they are definitely not married. Tila Toro as Inihate is not really, he's not in a place to be able to take that kind of position. But it certainly seems like both of them wouldn't be adverse to the idea of that. They interact the way that seemingly like long-term partners do. With the added layer, of course, of the fact that he is of noble standing and whatnot, or whatever the standing is in Aslan society. Otherwise, once things kind of settle down to, once all the formal speeches and stuff like that have happened, you can just enjoy yourselves at dinner. Is there anything you wish to try and direct yourself to? You do seem to be at kind of whatever the equivalent of the. It's a mix of the like end of table people with the. It seems like a smattering of other people who have been sat with you to give you recognition. So these things would normally be sort of laid out with people sitting in kind of the spots they fit within the society, as it were, and outsider guests would kind of been sat, where you can. You guys aren't. This thing, it isn't here to celebrate you, so the fact that you are here and participating, they seem to have viewed as sufficient. But they've also clearly put some people with you who do not know the people around them as well as, as they might. So it seems that I think Dr. Ilias, you may be the one most cultured in the, the battlefield of the dinner party. And you certainly can tell that, like, they have made efforts to have important people, sitting at your end of the table so that you guys are valued. That may be Tila Toral's doing, it may be Elihase is dealing, or something. So they didn't want to rework everything to have you guys take the place of someone who may be offended or maybe do the gratitude and recognition. But it seems like some people may have volunteered because they are the particularly chatty ones. It's probably actually the medic ones that you dealt with. People who volunteer to sit like below their station at the table just to make you feel comfortable. So anything you guys wish to bring up or to direct the conversation towards once it sort of goes into the free-for-all. This is the grand melee of the dinner party, if you will.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Ilias will be interested in if these are people who live here on the world. He's intrigued by the whole. There's like an entire world inside the world. So he'll and if he gets a sense this is not a topic to be discussed, he'll drop it. But he's just curious if they've ever gone inside. What are the rumors? How is it like? Does anyone know why? So he'll just happily chat about.
Yeah.
So what's it like living here? And there must be some weirdness going on with this setup. So it just sort of makes small talk along those lines.
Yeah, I think that what they at first, like the medics you're speaking to. They're like, they get to the point of like, so this is, they're tolerant of your questions about it too, and then they finally, one of them kind of gets up the nerve to be like, is this not common among your people?
We have many different societies and ways of arranging our affairs, but no, I would say having an entire sort of colony essentially kept inside one of these stations is not very common.
So they both look at one another and they kind of like, clearly they were foolish in the assumption that like there's just a bunch of ways where you people just have these weird captive, space stations where you keep a slave populace for no apparent reason. They offer their apologies for their ignorance of this, but yeah, they are as equally, perplexed by this. In answer to your question, no, like they are very protective of letting anybody else access them, the masters, as they were, of the world. This is slowly turning into our pulp campaign now. So the masters of the world do not allow anybody to have access to the inhabitants of the rest of the station, to the point where they will be while they don't actively monitor, and they rely quite heavily. We have a number of our males are parts of their station security for the hangar here, and actually we have females who are part of flight control. We have found they have to rely almost exclusively for the smooth operation of this on outsiders because of their. Well, I think those who are trapped in the rest of those who live in the rest of the station,
trapped.
I think that would be they're trying to be more polite about it. They probably made the exact same mistake of like, because they're gonna those who are in like a glass jar. There is degrees of ignorance that would come from that, living in such limited confines. The masters suffer a degree of their own limitations as a result of that too. So. No, it isn't. Although we have seen evidence of them working elsewhere. They still The masters, they keep dogs as well, it seems. All right, Anna. I don't know. She didn't like the idea of being kept in a cage. Suffice it to say, she is not crate trained. So, what else? Do you have insight into this, Doctor? Have you experienced something like this before?
Not of this nature, but I think like a lot of cultures, we have tendencies of finding a way we like things organized and then adhering to those. So maybe it's sort of as a religious community or refugees from somewhere. I can think of reasons why someone would set this up, and he'll just go into sort of anthropology of humans and that. Probably to the way until you realize maybe this is too detailed and you're not in a lecture room.
One of them is interested in it. The other one is kind of like looking down the table. Like, why did I agree to this fucking? But yeah, they also seem to be in disagreement as to whether they feel it is a kindness or a cruelness to maintain the people in that. One of them thinks that it would be like taking an organism adapted to the deep dark of a cave and suddenly exposing it to sunlight and expecting it to thrive. Another would feels that there's no way that they would know. Organisms don't grow beyond the confines of their environment, and by limiting the environment in this way, there's no way to know what these people would have been like. It's academic in their mind anyway. No one's given thought to try to free these people. Anything else you guys wish to direct the conversation towards? Or have questions about?
I don't think Dane is going to be very forthcoming. I think he doesn't want to make a mistake. So he's just not. There are things he can think of, and there are some. There are inside thoughts that he's desperately trying to keep in there. So I think he will actually keep them in there as best he can.
And Captain Ganny?
Oh, same. He's fish out of water here, so.
Okay.
He will look into his drink.
Does your captain, are there addiction issues with them? No. So at the conclusion of dinner, then, if there's nothing else you guys wish to bring up at dinner, dinner concludes in much the same ritualistic fashion as it does before, and that kind of represents the end of the evening, too. This isn't a matter of like you break from dinner and you go. The idea is you gorge yourself like crazy and then you go and you sleep it off. So that is what this is, leading towards what Elihase will say at the end of the dinner is she will stop by and thank each of you once again for participating in it, congratulate you on your performance of your exceptional performance in an otherwise alien environment. She expresses she's certain that she would not perform as well were the reverse were to be asked of her. So she explains that the rest of the Aslan will likely retire, except for those keeping guard. But otherwise, we will talk tomorrow. So unless there's anything you guys wish to say, you will head back to your quarters. You are not, I'm assuming, as gorged and in need of a brief hibernation period the way that the Aslan are going to. So what would you guys like to do? And I guess one other thing you haven't, if you have addressed it, I don't remember it, but what do you intend to do as far as cargo is concerned? And there was a discussion of having an empty hold when you reached here, apart from, I can't remember, did you guys do speculative trade on Drinax? I don't think so, right? You earned that money from the atomics and then you sold it on, or blew it all on laser guns.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I'll double check the sheet as to what we had on it. I don't think we took anything actually. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that sounds about.
Yeah, we didn't want to give any indications where we were jumping next, and because we were jumping in the middle of nowhere thing, we just decided to keep the cargo hold empty.
Right, and I don't think there was the free money or the free resources available to speculative trade. So, then what do you wish to do here? Is there any? Do you wish to try and secure any cargo, any mail, or anything like that before heading to Sink, or perhaps stuff that's destined for Tyok, and then just deliver it late?
Yeah, I think we have no reason not to take up cargo and mail for.
Yeah, we could do that. We could probably do that.
We're not going to give away where we're headed next.
I was going to say, or you're going to just be ultra cautious and take the cost hit on this to deliver our cargo a little bit more discreetly. I don't know.
What is the cost of fuel that you would be incurring? Or hold on, is there a gas giant in the world system?
I'm not sure. Got the
There is.
Okay. We could skim.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cost of 41 tons of unrefined fuel is just under 5,000 credits. So it's not a disastrous hit on our funds, which is currently operating at about 870,000.
There's a gas giant at Sink as well.
Right.
So both places you could skim if you choose to.
Yeah, there's a chance of things going wrong with skimming. So for 5,000, it's.
Yeah, I think.
And we could even take another load with us with our
fuel
external
tanks,
fuel tank.
Collapsibles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could be totally fueled up. Should we do that then? Shall we?
Let's do that.
Let's just not
10
engage
grand.
in commercialism. Yeah. Plus the opportunity cost. He's God, sound like an accountant.
And I admire you. I admire you for it. It's always
It's been
good
a
to aim
long
high.
journey. yeah. It's been a long journey.
So then, what if anything else did you wish to do in the time that you were here? You're just waiting for Teal Thorl
Buy a
to
suit.
buy a suit. Yeah, good call. Are you going to trust Captain Ganny to assist with that with the broker role? I think that's what.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't know what the
I've got
range
broker.
is here.
Yeah. Should I roll or?
Oh yeah, please do.
Here we go.
No problem. I think that red's going to break my heart again. Oh, it's only 1-1. You lead me astray, red box.
Solid result.
So this is a non sequitur, but the box thing. So it's a long weekend in Canada or North America this weekend, right? And Friday we had just some of the craziest emails come in on just a number of different developments of different things unrelated to file work. But one of the last emails I got was from I say senior counsel in the both senses of the word, aged and whatever else. We use a document sharing program that is called Box that you use for sharing documents, right? It's a secure way of sharing documents. We get an email from him ranting about how he had printed off 6 pages of the manual for this because he couldn't get the box to work. And he was not about to spend another 2 hours dealing with our robots. So demanding we send it in a different format, and it was just like, if there was ever an email I got from opposing counsel that so perfectly encapsulated man yells at clouds, it was this fucking email. And
It's a moment where you just desperately want to have a carrier pigeon and
it's just like
to send him something by that.
The funny thing is, like, I can't get Box to work for me either. Like, the program is absolute dog shit. It does not work for me. When I told the story to some other people, like, they were like, yeah, it doesn't work for me either. So there's a bunch of us who rely on our assistant's understanding of how to actually access and send these things. So I sympathize with the guy, but the fact that it was rephrased as the box multiple times, the fact that he knew how many pages there were in the actual sheet means he for sure printed it off and sat down and was like, fuck this, on the Friday before a long weekend. And then, I'm not dealing with your robots. It's going to be a running joke for us for a long time now. I don't want to deal with your robots. Just send me the documents in a way I can access them. Not in the box. Anyway, that tickled my. I was like that when I got that email. I'm like, okay, I'm done for the for the long weekend. I will not get a more interesting email than that. So, with your what do you call it? With your fuel purchased, that will not take you very long. Is there anything and a suit suitable to your liking, Dane? I imagine it is the most gray of gray suits.
It's very safe.
Yeah. And then anything else you guys wish to? Well, you guys are out shopping as well. Let's do this. Let's have either Dr. Elias, did you come along to fill the role of like big sister when shopping for suit, or did you?
Yeah, I think Dr. Elias will happily have to come along for that and stuff. And then give up in the end and let him pick whatever beige, grey,
Yes.
you know.
So we do not see the montage of him coming out trying on a bunch of things, and like one of the outfits he comes out in is his dress blues, and he's like, huh? And like, So what I'd like then is why don't one of you give us a recon check with a boon? And I'm going to adjust the target number because there's 3 of you who are kind of keeping eyes out as you're doing this. I also assume you're showing up to the, the tailor in your full combat armor too?
No. No, I don't think so.
Who would like to do
with a
so?
boon?
So it'd be Dane normally.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. I'll
Yeah,
just
go for it.
click boon, recon. No additional modifiers.
No additional modifiers. I'll just adjust the target number.
Okay, no worries.
Nice.
Okay.
Pretty good as it
All
turns
right.
out.
So I think after being on so many planets in the last couple of months, where it's seemingly people are constantly interested in seeing what you guys are up to, you have definitely picked up. And this, let's see. You got involved in freeing a kidnap victim on one planet. You rescued someone from being robbed on another planet and then recovered their goods. What else has gone wrong in the different? You were spied upon by the king's robots and another one. Yeah, it's been a paranoia justifying couple of stop-offs in the last couple of planets. Oh, and you were followed by the Red Investigators on Gibraltar Station. So, yeah. Perhaps you're like, well, who is following us now? And perhaps without disappointing, there is quite obviously someone who is following him. Now, what do you think you guys would be dressed in and equipped with when you are leaving? This is definitely not a place where you would feel bad about bringing your Gauss pistol with you, Captain Canny.
Yeah.
Or more, like you guys, I leave it to your discretion. The place does have a very low law level, and you've got it in good with the people who do station security. So, what do you think you guys would be
given
wearing?
our previous experiences, I guess go tooled up.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know about your Uber armor, but I'll wear my clothes anyway.
I'll wear cloth.
Okay.
And
Do you want to borrow Anchor's trench coat?
do you know, I need to get one of those. I seriously need to get something like that. That's so cool and frankly so useful. I'll take my laser pistol.
If you wish to pick that up here, you might be able to get that too. Because I don't think it's a particularly rare item, right?
I've got a laser pistol.
No, the trench coat or the duster.
Oh, the trench coat. In which case, I will actually take it. I think it will become a close.
Well, should we all get one, and then we can all go around? Like it'd be like Matrix.
So. And the sunglasses. Yeah.
I will try and find my best. It's White Bat Audio that we use for the audio in this one. I'll find my best Propeller Heads-esque track for any time you guys are doing slow-mo walking.
Shall we do that, Mr. Loverick?
I'm checking the cost of that.
Mr. Loverick.
It's not powered armor. It is... I feel like I'm flipping past it each time I...
Is it the cloth trench coat you're looking for?
Yeah.
500 credits.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. So, you got your... I'll leave it to you guys to decide what weaponry you have on you. But yes, you can see that there is Dane, a human, who seems to be following you. The last two shops, the trench coats are us, Crate, and the tailor.
Right.
And I think you rolled certainly well enough to be able to do so without without them being aware that they've been spotted.
Okay. I mean, is there actually a possibility of us evading, doubling back, and kind of following them?
You could try. This will be less of a than the best suited to the task making the roll and more the worst suited to the task making the roll. But yes, you absolutely can.
Or if I don't think that's very likely, I mean, I could make a quick evaluation, then...
Whoever is the worst making the roll will still make it with a boon, though. Because you do have useful people who are helping you, and I'll adjust the target number. So it'll just be a matter of if someone is not... I'm trying to remember if it's stealth or if there's a different...
Yeah. I mean,
it's for sure stealth. Yeah, it's like sneaking past a guard, avoiding detection.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be intelligence and stealth. Is anyone not trained in stealth?
Oh, that'll probably be me.
Dr. Ellis isn't.
Okay. And who has the worst intelligence modifier?
Oh, it might be me.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the two who are not trained. Dane, are you trained or not?
I'm trained. I have one level in it.
I've got a modifier of 1 on intellect.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, so it'll be either of you guys making the roll with a boon at a minus. It's -3, I think, is the untrained, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could I? Yeah.
You guys do your luck. You can draw on 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, could we task chain it? And I use my leadership to try and encourage to try and.
I'm already giving a boon, and I'm also if you don't want that, we could do it that way. But in which case, they're going to lose the boon.
Okay. Stay as we are.
Okay. So who would like to make the roll? Who's feeling lucky?
You want to roll, Doctor?
Sure. After all, I'm a master spy, according to some people. It's intellect, boon, and then -3.
Did I never mention the secret email that David sent with his true backstory for his character? All right. Are you satisfied with that, or do you want to spend any luck?
You happy to spend 2 luck?
Yeah, I was going to say a couple. Yeah.
Okay. So, between the 3 of you, it seems you're getting pretty good at ducking tails and reconnoitering, because you managed to turn the tables on this one quite nicely. Tell me how you guys did that. Or tell us, I should say, not me. I am but one.
Maybe maybe we sort of enter a particular commercial district in one way, and then sort of exit round a back door, as it were, and then loop round, and sort of catch them on the way out of that commercial area, sort of slightly confused. And so we've sort of caught them as they've realised that we've ducked away. So they know we've ducked away, I think.
Okay, so you want them to know that they've shaken the tail?
I think they will probably know that it's very unusual, very odd that we've just literally disappeared.
Okay.
I mean, we probably stand out.
So that's, I guess, what my question is do you want them to know that you've shaken the tail, meaning that you were aware of it, or do you want them to think that they've lost you?
Probably the latter.
Okay.
The latter.
Okay. So they have, and what you can see is when you double back and you get your vantage where you're keeping an eye on this person, it's a human male, probably in his late 30s. He has the short cropped hair of kind of like, ex-military who doesn't, have any identity beyond that. And he is watching. He looks very much like any kind of station laborer, or nothing special stands out about his insignia or his clothing. He seems to watch the place for a bit, and then you can see he's communicating to someone on a comm unit, and it'll be probably about an hour before he starts more aggressively communicating on the thing. And then decides to go in where you guys went to take a closer look, seemingly. He seems to look around, and he has the, expression of and body language of someone of like, I've lost them. And then getting, read the riot act by someone on the other end of the thing. He then adopts kind of a hangdog expression that suggests that he's not been retasked to something else, and is, with a look of frustration on his face, leaves where you guys are and begins seemingly heading at a pretty good clip. Not running or anything like that, but like pissed off and stomping, kind of.
Okay. Well, we need to apprehend him. I think we actually need to understand who he is and what he's doing. And so I think we will endeavour to do that. We will try to corner him if we can, and ask him very nicely in a sort of a laser pistol drawn kind of a way. Who are you?
So how would you guys like to go about cornering him then? Is there a specific area you want to? I mean, unfortunately, you're not familiar with the
don't know the station.
Yeah, so. Are you just going to try and...
We're just going to have to look for an opportunity.
Okay. So let's do this then. Because you're trying to anticipate, if it is going to be cutting him off, you're trying to anticipate where he's going and get ahead of him. Yeah. Why don't you guys... Yeah. Ooh. So this will probably be I can see stealth, intellect, or stealth, agility. Agility? Dexterity? Dexterity. Either of those would... Wait.
Okay. How do you want us to do that in terms of rolls?
Wait, hold up here. The stat's agility, is it, or is it dexterity? Dexterity. Okay. I'm looking at the... I've got the page open to athletics, and it's like athletics, specialty, dexterity. You got a specialty of dexterity with a stat of dexterity?
Yep.
Yeah. What... We'll do it the same way, I think, but why don't we, because you're going to be employing your tactics, why don't you first give us a task chain roll with leadership, Dane? And let's see how that goes in.
All right. No guarantees here. Let's see what we get.
That's good. That's good enough.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so that is plus 1, I think. Is it task chain on the GM screen? Let's see. I know a skill list isn't, but let's see. Task chain is, all right. That's plus 2, actually, because it was 8. Yeah. If you hit it on the nose, it is plus 1, and 1 over is plus 2. So, who would like, Dr. Ilias, you want to make the intellect and stealth check again with +2. It would be a net -1, I guess.
Yeah. Unless, Captain, you want to take this one?
No, you go for it. You go for it. It's your fault if it goes wrong.
Too, the polite stand-up. But no, well, by all means, you take a sip of the spoiled milk. No, by all means, you go ahead, and it would be rude for me to assume. Go right ahead.
You said intellect and stealth.
Intellect, stealth with -1, please.
Yeah. Yes. Snake eyes.
Is it? Hey!
That's the full Monty.
That is the box I like. So, all right. So I think what this means is, as you guys are, tell us about how you're planning on kind of springing this ambush on this fellow. And because he is the thug,
Apparently by walking out with our pants off.
he has been
Over our
used.
head, 2 pencils up our noses. And no, I sort of turn, I say, so Gani, Dr. Ilias, and I sort of do a theatrical left and right, then realize, where are they?
Well, I will tell you what is happening here as far as the things. As far as you're concerned, you're going to be about to spring this ambush quite well. Okay. So here's our, generic stock thug number 1.
He's probably just a messenger. It'll be fine.
Who was the one who was going to be cutting them off from the front? Who was going to be from the rear?
Probably at the front would be me.
Okay. All right. So it is in a corridor where probably something more like the bottom right there, where it is just a couple of people kind of kicking around. There seems no one else is around, but it's large enough where you guys could kind of jump out and corner him without having to be in immediate quarters with him. So what happens when you jump out to, what do you say? Let me phrase that. What do you say? And then I'll tell you what happens.
Okay. I just say, stop right there. Tell us who you are.
And it is at that point he sort of stops and trying to figure out. There's that confused wait, I was following internal monologue, and that is when it seems that the people he was coming to meet up with have also come into this corridor. So let's put a couple more.
Who needs a GM intrusion when you can get 2
Exactly.
One was bad enough, but they cloned him.
You just got to have patience for the thing. It's because I think he's made 3 appearances in 3 games this weekend, because he is. It came to my attention. I'm not sure I've used generic thug number 1 in all of our games yet, so I really need to remedy that.
No.
Multiverse theory confirmed.
It is. There are some, some directors have favored actors and whatnot. This is the guy who has been punched in the face by heroes more often than anyone else in any other game I run, or any other illustration I use. So, I wish I knew. I should look it up afterwards, because I think it's a concept art from Dishonored, I think, and the art in Dishonored is fucking awesome. I mean, my sensibilities, if you've played in or watched Paradar, suggest that's probably not a surprise that I really love that stuff. But in any event, all right. So he has stepped out, and then there are, it seems, a squad of guys who are carrying weaponry similar to what they were facing before, but a little bit heavier armor, have come kind of walking down the corridor from behind where you are, Dane. Now, I think that there is enough of a distance between, we're talking probably 10 meters difference between you and where these guys, the backup squad is. There's the guy in front of you, and then Dr. Ilias and Captain Gani, you are fortunately the furthest away from Goon Squad of what everybody is. So, let's look up how to roll initiative. and then we'll roll initiative. I think it's what? Is it a dex check?
I better look. So there's some things you can do. just
yes.
prior to rolling.
Right.
There's, I think, leadership or tactics or something.
Yes, tactics, as long as they're not surprised. One traveler may make a tactics check. So, unfortunately, that starship has, as it were, sailed.
Okay.
We are initiative. Each traveler makes either a dex or intellect check. It pays to be quick of the hand or quick of the mind. I like it.
Is there anything on leadership at all?
Leadership is something that can be done. Where is it here? As an action to pass orders through as a significant action.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The effect of it is basically you bank a bunch of bonuses equal to the dice modifier. So.
Okay, cool.
So go. Let me get up the turn order. Boom. Let me make sure it's cleared. And I don't know if there's an initiative button on the sheet, but I suspect there probably is. It's a pretty good sheet.
There's a combat page on the armor.
Yep. There we go. All right.
Combat page. Roll initiative, select token first.
There we go. I've gone.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
It seemed to...
That is... Ooh. Now, you can spend luck on this, guys. That's where they are. If anyone wants to spend luck on their initiative check, go right ahead. If you want to act before them, it'll cost Dr. Abdel 3, and it'll cost Dane 2. Where's the tiebreaker, actually? I wonder.
What is the tiebreaker?
PCs are better looking, so they go first.
It's funny, for a game that is so hero-focused, 7th C 2nd edition, it's the villains who go first in a tie.
Okay.
Tied with the same initiative order, the highest dex score will go first. So they would have a dex of 6.
Okay, so I'll spend 1 luck if that's okay. So I'll tie it, but I have a dex of 11.
Sounds good. So go ahead and make that adjustment in the turn order, and then I will adjust. Perfection. All right. Then, Captain Gani. There is a guy, probably, I don't know, 6 meters maybe in front of you, and you've got your pistol or whatever out to kind of ambush him or convince him to cooperate. And you can see there's the other 6 guys who have come around the corner, and the look on their faces and the weapons in their arms tell you that they are likely backup for this individual. What would you like to do?
I will. So, just so I understand, I'm sort of behind cover?
Mm-mm.
Or I'm just standing there
You're
in the
standing
open?
in an open hallway. Let me move this up here so you can see. There may be cover you can jump behind, but it's not going to be particularly protective. Picture something like this hallway here.
Yep.
And you guys have jumped in front of one guy with Dane in front and the 2 of you behind him. And then behind Dane, there are 6 more guys who have come up.
Sorry, the 6 are behind me.
Correct.
Oh dear.
They're behind you,
Okay.
then you are in front of the guy. It seems like he was walking to meet up with them.
Right, got you. Oh dear.
Captain Gani, what would you like to do?
So, I'm going to step out in front of him, point my Gauss pistol at his head, aim it, and say...
So you have to, hold on. You're
Drop
6
your
meters
weapons.
away from him. It means you're going to have to run
6.
up to him and...
No, so 6 meters, that's fine. I'm going to step out and say, right, drop your weapons.
Okay. Go ahead and give us a... is it Intimidate? No. I'm just gonna see if there-
Persuade.
Yeah, might be. Also covers bribery or intimidation. Yeah, go ahead and give us a persuade check.
Okay, let's hope this is a good one.
That is not going to make them pause. If you give me 2 luck, it'll make them pause for a round.
Let's use that.
Okay. Dane.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to deal with the one in front of me, I think, or try to. So I will.
Captain Ganny has just stepped forward and put his gun to his head.
Oh, okay. In which case, maybe what I will do then is I will try to evaluate my surroundings, whether there is any cover that I can get to, either to my left or to my right.
Okay.
So just advise me what I can do, and then I will pull. Probably in this case, well, it's probably going to have to be the. I've got basically monkey knives, a heavy revolver, and a laser pistol. Probably is what I would have brought.
Okay.
They're about 10 meters away. I'll probably pull the heavy revolver. I won't have time.
I'm fine assuming you had one of them out if you were jumping out to ambush this dude.
Okay, all right. In which case, I will.
So I think taking cover is a minor action, isn't it? Yeah. So if you wanted to, as part of your kind of like taking stock, if you want to make that leadership role that you mentioned, you could do that and bank some.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
I'll try that. Let's go. 0 modifier leadership. Let's just see what we get, if anything. God, no. I'm just floundering around. Is that 2 1s?
Oh, it's true.
It is. It is. It's 2 1s.
We're doing well today.
Yeah. Wow.
We are in trouble. Deep trouble.
The person who posted about how they hate the nat 1 roll, the double nat 1 roll, is right like, see?
And this is all for just wanting to buy a pair of trousers. For God's sake.
Exactly. All right. So I think here's what you pick up is that you duck for cover. You've got your weapon out. You look back over and you see what Captain Ganny has overlooked is that while the pistol is at his head, there's a pistol at his ribs.
Okay.
So they both have guns trained on one another right now, and you're like, wow. But with the Intimidate, that was sufficient to make everyone pause. It does not seem that Captain Ganny has noticed that he has a pistol trained on him by the person he has the pistol trained on.
Okay.
And you can picture is like what's happened is the guy had, when he saw you jump up, he half drew the pistol, and then you guys all sort of, he saw his allies there. He didn't have a moment to bring it up, but because Captain Ganny has come out, it just happens that he's also got perfectly trained on him right now. So
who do I shoot, basically?
Exactly.
Guy in front of me sounds like.
So he has paused. Dane is in cover. The others stop where they are, and they seem kind of uncertain as to how to proceed. The guy that you have the gun trained on too, he's kind of seeing whether his allies are going to do anything, so he does nothing this round as well. He keeps his pistol out and trained on you, however. Dr. Ilias.
Dr. Elias will. He probably had his gun out as well, although he absolutely does not like using it because he was very bad at it. He will reach for his comm unit.
He's holding it like.
Yeah.
Okay.
he will reach for his comm unit and see if he can reach Ultima 1.
Okay.
And with the trace, just like a short message saying, we might have a situation, can you track this device? Unless he can see, you are in sub-level 5B, or if there's any signs, if not.
Yeah.
If just like a random corridor, he will just try and reach out to Ultima 1 to let them know that there's a situation.
Ultima 1 does have some pretty sophisticated sensors on him, and he has a wireless link, so he can connect to your device and then sort of triangulate from there.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, so you activate the things and it says, Doctor, what a pleasant surprise.
Ish. We've run into a bit of a situation. More assailants. I'm not quite sure where we are in the station. We try to apprehend one of them, but he has friends.
Understood, Doctor. We are on our way. I believe our Aslan friends can assist. Then,
Thank you.
top of the round, Captain Gani. For free, would you give us a recon check, please? Okay, this guy's got a gun on you. What would you like to do?
Pull my trigger with burst.
You're murdering a man?
The man who's at this
I only
point.
ask because, like, that is a shockingly brutal thing for a character to do who has not been in close combat with anyone else. You're absolutely free to do that. Just, I want to. It's easy to be out of the scene when you're thinking in terms of the actual expression. Has Gani ever shot someone up this close before?
Well, we've got into those last few firefights, which have been fairly close and bloody. I was just wondering if. Okay, so that tells me something.
I don't want. You absolutely play the character as you feel is appropriate, but that is a shocking level of sudden brutality from a character who hasn't displayed that before.
No.
We don't yet know what they're about, do we? Although they're all armed and they look.
And in defense, it could also reflect Captain Gani's level of fear right now too. If he thinks he's threatened, that might be a reasonable overreaction that he wouldn't otherwise do if he had time to think about it. So, whatever you think is, what does he do?
Yeah, he'll still. Okay. Just drop it.
Okay. Why don't you give us another persuade check, please? You already did quite well before, and you can take a +2 to this as well. To roll forward from the previous position. Are you... Oh my god. It was 3... One luck to make that a success, please.
Yeah, let's take one luck
on
that.
So you can see his hand kind of moves away from you, so he doesn't have it trained on you anymore, and his one free hand kind of goes up, and he's like, look, you don't... We're just watching.
Okay, so I'll turn my pistol slightly away from his face.
Okay. Dane, what are you doing?
So now I'm in cover. I will aim as my minor action, and I will let off a round from the heavy revolver and make a lot of noise.
Okay.
Sort of, well, in theory, just a sort of kind of to the left or right. So there's an explosion in the scenery somewhere as the 10mm round sort of cascades into something,
sure.
And I'll shout out something like, hopefully it's sort of free action. Just hold your ground.
Okay.
And tell us who you are.
Give us a gun combat check, please.
I will indeed. I will do my damned bestest not to get to once. Let's see. What fate gives us.
Squarely between the eyes of one of the thugs. No,
Okay,
that's
so
amazing.
12.
So what is where do you see it landing?
So I think it's just to the left of the corridor, but it's close enough that as the 10mm round smashes into something, it splinters and shrapnels, and perhaps the one to the left is just hit by a few bits of shrapnel from the side of the plasteel corridor.
Okay, so they are likewise stunned into kind of inaction, and the other guy, the one you have your gun trained on, Captain Gani, he says, you don't need to do this. You can just... We don't even want you.
So who do you want? And why?
You know who we want.
But why? And for who? Or rather, for who?
It's a bounty. We're told to make the guy dead. We're paid to do it, that's it.
And who gave the bounty?
I don't know who it is. Some middleman. If you want his name, we can get it for you.
We'd like the name. And then we go our separate ways.
If it's not us coming, someone else is going to come. When we talk about this, turn him over, we're happy to give a generous share. It's a big bounty.
How big?
Big enough to make you reconsider transporting them. He makes eye contact with you finally, Captain. Come on.
No, I'm just curious how much, as to find out how much they wanted it done.
More than it's worth to keep him transported. Just turn him over and we can talk about this. He seems to trust you. Bring him somewhere we can get him. And we'll take care of it. They won't even know that you were responsible. Come on. Let's talk about this. What's one more dead Azzy?
Yeah, that's not the way we roll. So, I suggest maybe it's somebody else, maybe it's another day. But for your sakes, and I just point the gun back at him. You walk away, and we'll deal with the next guys.
Yeah,
but give us the name.
You're just going to get yourself killed too. And he's starting to back away to rejoin with his allies. And he's keeping a cautious look on Dane and that big fuck off revolver.
Name or my friend will make a lot of noise.
Sir, would you say
that big
Graham?
gun of his?
Station security, location, coordinates. I want a team here. Stat. We've got armed assailants.
Remember what the law level is here?
Yeah, but
what if you say that out loud, or even just like pantomime it? Dr. Ilias can say that that security's on the way, because
let's do that. I mean, even if I just talk to the sort of clan protectors.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the station security is law level 0, but we've got friends.
If you contact the person that you were coordinating with, you can hear like they're short of breath. They're like, "We're on our way."
Yeah. So what I'm going to try and do, Kevin, is actually try and stall them.
Okay.
So rather than threat them anymore, I just say, I think I may have just heard that you want to talk. I'm good to talk, I say, and I'm sort of holding the gun up in the air like this.
Okay.
And
their guns are all up now as he's backing his way towards them. Just turn him over. You know what we want. Bring him out.
Sure. Okay, but we'll need to arrange this, I say.
The one that Captain Ganny had the hand on, he looks over at you. He brings his comm unit out and he gestures towards you and kind of hits something. I imagine that's how you sort of exchange. There's probably a very easy way to exchange contact info. So he activates it and says, "Then you know how to contact us." He looks over and he nods. It seems like someone else is in charge. The guy you've been talking to is just like one surveillance dude. But he goes over. So he's rejoined them about the time when you can hear from Dr. Ilias that Ultima 1 comes over and he's not short of breath at all. We should be in your location. He's doing that kind of like replicant run, So
does he run through a wall or something?
Yeah, exactly. Smashing through stuff. He says, I'll be at your destination in 7 minutes. Backup should be here within another 10. So
that's about as good as in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, if you wish to try and stall them, though, you could try. It is It's not fast talk.
Corny conversation anyway.
Deception.
Okay.
Lie fluently,
yeah.
disguise yourself from sleight of hand, and fool onlookers. Most underhanded ways of cheating or lying fall under deception.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, I don't have that.
Okay.
So it's unskilled. Would it be sock or intellect?
Probably
say?
intellect, I think. Because
Yeah.
you're trying to like bamboozle them, right? So that probably is a
Yeah.
expression of.
Captain Ganny thought about this, trying to deceive them, and then decided he wasn't good at this.
Yeah.
He was just going to be
That's by
tell the
far the
truth.
better solution. Yes. Honestly, I'm not going to kill you all, I say with this fevered look in my eye. You're totally fine.
And Dane keeps looking back as if he's expecting something down the corridor, and they're like, "Come on, come on, come on! He's stalling." And they all sort of make their way back. Unless anyone says otherwise, I'm assuming you guys they back to the end of the hallway with the detente, and then they'll turn and kind of run down, and then maybe a minute or so afterwards, when you see Ultima 1, like kind of like a bodybuilder running at a Usain Bolt speed, comes racing around the corridor. And he looks around. Have they gone?
Yes, just.
Situation was diffused, thankfully.
Good. Who was it? More of the same.
Bounty hunters?
Yeah.
Or so they claimed.
Captain Ganny nearly shot one.
Are you okay, Captain?
Oh, it was a shaking thing.
Yeah, is he like? If he was, I imagine that there was a moment where he was like, squeezing the trigger and then like eased up on it.
Yeah.
What's going through Captain? Is it like, are his hands shaking now, having nearly blown? Because he would have vaporized that guy's head with
a Gauss pistol and burst. Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels better though because he told the guy to go stick it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He stuck by his ideals.
Ultima 1, can you do a trace on this number? And I'll pass that. I'll send the details over to him.
I
And his
can.
Gauss pistol bullets are so expensive.
Yeah. Well, whoever lives on the other side of that wall probably wouldn't appreciate poking through the hole like, hey, what? Yeah, he takes it and he says, I certainly can. Let me get to work on it. Anyone else? Is anyone injured?
Thankfully not.
How did this happen? Well,
We
for
were-
one, our dice were cold, so.
Yeah. I wanted to buy some trousers.
And now we need a new pair.
Yeah. We tried to double down and try and cut one off so we could isolate and interrogate.
How did you
And,
come across them? Did you spy them?
Yes.
And then I'm sorry, did you spy them or were they following you?
They were following us. They just weren't doing it particularly well.
They definitely, because you rolled a 12, you may remember, on your...
Oh, no, it's true. Okay.
Yeah, so only
yeah.
to give you context, like this seems to be, if it was the, C-tier guys who were initially sent out, I think you would recognize these people as much more competent operatives.
Okay.
You would have that
Yeah,
frame of reference, right?
Okay. I would let Ultima 1 know that they were competent. They were using sort of fairly standard procedures, but I'm used to it. I did work in a covert ops unit, so
What you may have also picked
doing.
up too, Dane, is that they definitely were wearing heavier armor than last time.
Okay.
Or at least these guys are. So it is as you suspected. There is more.
Yeah. It's not going to stop now.
And it's around then probably when the rest of the Aslan, there's a 10-man security guard crew that arrives dressed in the security, jumpers or overalls. And Ultima One turns and communicates to them what's happened. They talk amongst each other, and then there's 5 of them that go down the corridor in pursuit. And the others stick behind. And Ultima One says, if you are being followed in any event, the Aslan would prefer to accompany you.
Okay.
They would appreciate it.
Okay, that's fine.
Have you concluded your... Did you get your trousers?
I did.
Good. Shall we return to the Aslan compound? It may be more secure in that facility.
It may. It may indeed, though it would be beneficial to find out more about who is pursuing us. I regret that we did not manage to interrogate one of them.
I am coordinating with systems security, or the ship's station security, and I'm running a subroutine as we speak. I should have a location for the... With luck, they will be foolish enough to answer when I call.
Very good.
What do you intend to do with that information when we gather it?
It's going to be about making connections when we get to sync, to see if there is anything that will assist us when we're there. Can we get any more information about who is hiring them? That's kind of what we need to know, and it'll help to target our activities when we get to sync.
Understood. Then, anything further you guys wish to do here before your return? And what is the plan? With the dinner completed and with his meeting with the people completed, if you have no other business on the station, there's nothing further for him to do here. Tila Toro will be ready to depart whenever you guys are, so it's a question of whether you wish to spend more time investigating these guys or you wish to just get yourself ready and leave.
Just bugger off.
Yeah.
Had enough of this place.
Given if the bounty is as big as they say, they might of course very much try to stop us from leaving. And not let that big of a bounty escape out of system.
So that's a question. Does the clan have any ships that can at least escort us towards a jump point, or at least shadow us?
So you're referencing the clan. That's not the first time you guys have done that. Remember, he is the one who has brought dishonor to the clan and has dishonored himself, and he is an Ihate. So he is definitely of the clan, but he does not have... An Ihate goes and makes their own fortune without the assistance of the clan. If the clan... where things stand, absent any other evidence, the clan regains some measure of their lost honor by him arriving and dying in ritual combat. But that's the extent of what he offers the clan at this point, is if he can show up and die, that will restore some measure of honor to them. If he's able to uncover that someone else is responsible, then not only, and he's able to triumph in the ritual combat, then not only is the clan's honor restored, likewise his is. If he doesn't show up again, if he dies on the way, the stain on the family, on the clan, remains.
Yeah, so it's in their interest that we at least get there.
It is, but they cannot be seen as assisting him, nor as an Ihate would he probably accept that. He has these followers here, and the followers here, unfortunately, do not have any ships available. Doctor, what do you think?
I think Dr. Ellis would possibly in favor of leaving it before they can organize. If we could leave at any moment until the tutorial is ready to go, then don't give them a time to get organized or recover from what has just happened. But of course, if we do capture some of them, we might get more information, but if these are just bounty hunters that have a big bounty via a middle person, that will not necessarily tell us much. And we might delay here.
Did Dane ever work as a merc in any capacity, or did he go directly from cashiering out and then worked as,
No, he got drafted. He looks on at Gani's scout uniform with, a sigh and regret, because that was the route he wanted to take. So no, he's been military sort of since his draft.
Okay.
Without a break.
The reason I ask is to see whether he might be familiar with how these contracts are arranged.
Right.
And often, the deals that you do as a free trader are all, for the most part, in person, right? Like, you show up and you'll do whatever else. But this contract you had with your current contract, this is something that you originally heard about through long-range, information. You then had your meeting in person, and then you had to go pick it up at a third location. It's not unusual for mercenary contracts to be negotiated in a similar type of way. So this guy may have a middleman, but the middleman may just be, it may take you going a further step to try and track down who was responsible. So maybe one way of thinking is, how much value would you get from learning who ultimately is responsible for hiring these people? Or will that be new information to you? That might help you decide whether it's worth sticking around to get this information or to just try and get the package delivered, as it were.
I think we're just in the mode, given that we know so little. Anything that comes in, which adds to the picture a little bit, we'll take. It may prove to be, circumspect or circumstantial, should I say. But nevertheless, we want to go in as well informed as we can be. So I guess we won't hold up. We're not going to spend a lot of time holding up our journey, because we need to crack on. But if there's anything that comes out of that's helpful, then we'll take it.
Okay, so does that inform what you guys are going to do next then? Get in the ship and get off to Sync, or spend more time finding out what you can here?
Yeah. What do you think, guys? Do we?
Dr. Ellis thinks go to Sync. If Elahasi is right, most of our answers will probably be found there.
Yeah.
If we linger here, they can regroup, and if it's a chain of middle people, we won't find it. It'll take forever to find out anything. So, leave now, I think.
Leave now and double fill the tank. Drop. Put 41 tons of unrefined fuel in the portable tank, and give us basically a full tank when we arrive at Sync, in case we need to do any emergency jumps. Okay. We'll arrange for the fuel transfer for the ship in that case, and we'll plan to leave. Guess. Go.
Captain Gani?
Yep, I'm up for that.
Okay. Then, Ultima One will tell you that he will, when he completes his subroutine, he will provide that information to station security so they can take appropriate measures. I'm confident in their appropriate, if there is anything to learn from them, we can trust that they will make best efforts to do so. We will send, I will ask them to send word to Sync. Oh. Ultimate One asks, do you think, with our departure, that the threat to the Aslan here will be concluded?
There's no saying it will be. Depends on the nature of the threat and how personal it is. Whether it's directed to close associates as well.
Well, from what not that they can, the guy said, they're only interested in the bounty.
Yeah.
So unless they try to, I don't know, kidnap Elahasi to use her as leverage, but that would mean that they know more about Aslan culture than I would think they would, given their behavior so far. I think maybe they would be safe because the target is gone. They'll be chasing the target.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be behind the curve then. That is a really good point, Doctor. They could use her in some kind of way.
I had similar concerns. I know that I am a new member of the crew, but I know these people's culture, and I think, Dane, I am not the only one who has a certain level of respect for Tila Toril and a sense of responsibility for his outcome. If you are successful in achieving his exoneration, it will come at great cost to him, I suspect. The dishonor among his clan will still remain to some degree. Whatever truth awaits him on Sync, Elahasi seems to be a person of great, who is prized greatly by him. For something to happen to her, he would be succeeding and losing at the same time.
Yeah.
Perhaps for whatever additional protection it could offer, I could remain behind here to offer assistance to them until such time as you conclude the business on Tyok. It is but a jump from Tyok to here, and I could rejoin the crew at that point.
Gosh.
And that is something to consider for the next 2 weeks. So, for those, you get your usual XP per the session, and for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 26 of the Borderland Run. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this campaign, most other campaigns and games we run on the channel, as well as a ton of other great channels like Finding a Group or GM Discussion or other virtual tabletop discussion. There's a great community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. And Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America, including the terrific Striker supplement, so favored by our captain. There is, not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, and if they do not have something in stock in their extensive catalog of out-of-print and hard-to-find games, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in, and if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word. It is in the description down below, and you'll save yourself 10% on your purchase. If you're listening to this after June 30th, 2024, come back to one of our more recent videos, and you will find what the current discount code is. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in a bunch of crisis areas. You can learn all about SOS Children's Villages International by following that link. And if you have donated $25 or more since January 1st, 2024, come over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server around late June or late July this year, and we will start sharing information about the charity sessions for the later half of the year. I will have I've got what I think is a good idea for how we're going to have the donors help us for the last half of the year to fill out our charity sessions. I know. Anne is very excited about it. I'm telling them. Jeepers. But we'll have more information about that near the end of June, but I think it'll be a fun way for the donors to participate in shaping those sessions, helping us pick what game, what kind of concepts, what characters we're playing, that kind of stuff. So should be really fun. And all donations, again, through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart crew. So, David, Graham, and James, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations on having a combat encounter that did not yet get bloody. So, well done on turning the tables on your enemies there, and thank you very much for the back-to-back snake eyes. That was a very unexpected and fun development. Then we will be back on the world in 2 weeks' time to see what our heroes are deciding to do, who will stay behind, if any, what steps it will take to secure information, and whether Dr. Ilias is going to draw on that Aslan sedative to try and take things in a dramatically unexpected direction. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are encountering on the world. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.